Many businesses and news outlets use the Associated Press Stylebook, or AP Style. I had a question in response to the video How to Write Numbers in AP Style, which asked, what about dates? When writing dates in AP Style, there are two key things to remember. Firstly, use numerals for dates and years instead of writing them out as words. Secondly, use cardinal numbers, not ordinal numbers. This means simply using the numeral 1, not 1 followed by ST, if you want to say the first. Let's look at an example. The event took place June 1st, 1987, would be written June 1, 1987, period. Not the event took place on the 1st of June 1987, or the event took place June 1st, 1987, written as 1 followed by ST. The AP Style Book is also a US English style guide, so it recommends the date format month, date, year. However, you can still adapt this guidance if you're writing in the UK and need to use the UK format of date, month, year. AP Style recommends abbreviating any date longer than 5 letters. In this case, you simply use the first 3 letters followed by a period. The only months where this wouldn't apply, however, are March, April, May, June, and July. Also, if you refer to a month without an exact date, you should always write it out in full. The exact date: the scheme began Jan, period, 1st, 2014. With no exact date, the scheme began in January 2014. In AP Style, you don't typically need to include the day of the week when using a specific date. If you do, though, use a comma after the name of the day to separate it from the rest of the date. AP Style recommends setting apart the year from the rest of the date with a comma. This includes separating the numeral of the date and the numerals of the year in the US date format. He was born in Nevada, June 6th, 1982. But you'll also need a second comma after the year if the sentence continues. The event started Jan 17th, 1984, and ended 3 days later. If you only mention a month and year though, no commas are required. The scheme was announced in June 2020 and cancelled the next month. If you're abbreviating a decade, such as the 1960s to 60s, AP Style recommends using an apostrophe before the numerals in order to indicate something has been dropped. The beehive hairstyle was popular throughout the 60s. However, you don't need an apostrophe before the S in decades or centuries. The early 1800s were a time of rapid change, whereas during the 1950s, written with an apostrophe, is incorrect. This is because the S in this situation indicates a plural, not possession. AP Style recommends omitting the word on before a day or date. The council met Jan 5th to discuss the plan, not the council met on Jan 5th to discuss the plan. However, you should use on at the beginning of a sentence before a date. On July 12th, the new law came into effect, not July 12th, the new law came into effect. Keep in mind, omitting the on is rare in this context in British English, so it may be necessary to consider where your audience is based when you're doing your writing. Generally, AP Style forbids starting a sentence with numerals, but it makes an exception for years, which can go at the start of the sentence, especially if rephrasing would be awkward. For example, 2009 was a good year for Barack Obama. It's fine to do this as long as the sentence reads smoothly. That covers the basics of writing dates in AP Style. I've linked other AP Style Guide resources in the video description, and I'm continually adding to my AP Style playlist here on the channel to try and cover all the different aspects of writing in the AP Style. Your writing, proof.